Welcome back, everybody, to the greatest podcast in the universe. We are Incognito Banter, and welcome to episode 11. We have some great content for you this week. We're going to talk a little bit about anime, cover some recent news. We got a couple good Anime the Asshole stories. We'll see if we can get to both of them. And yet another guest decided to join us on the pod.
Another one.
No.
I don't know where we're getting these people, but and we're getting some pretty decent luck with them.
I'm surprised people actually respond to our DMs and agree to come on the show.
I know we're sliding into a lot of DMs.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
But we're doing pretty well with bringing guests on here. So I want to introduce Darshan Brahmbhatt.
Yo, what's up, guys? How you doing?
Okay. I know we had a brief conversation with you before we got started. We know we have many similarities. Anime lover, bourbon hunter, surprisingly 1994 Camry lover. That was
95, get it right?
1995. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
But I mean, sorry guys, before we start, can we talk about what we're drinking today?
Oh yeah,
Why not?
in the spirit of Christmas, I'm a part of multiple Advent calendars, so I'm just playing catch up here. I don't know what I'm drinking yet.
Okay. What about you, Darshan?
Well, this man poured me what is called a Bardstown bourbon something. Can't read the label. It's too far.
It's a Bardstown rye.
Surprised. I actually kind of like this. I don't usually like rye.
That's why I poured it. This is a rye that a lot of rye haters like.
Well, I would have to agree with that, actually, because I really do not like rye.
Yeah. Let's start off here. So, if you had to pick, I think you had mentioned bourbon, right? Let's start there, right? One, how much do you drink every week if you're open to tell us? And two, what's your favorite pour?
Honestly, I don't really drink that much. Don't usually just drink by myself. Wife does not drink whiskey, so I don't just drink by myself. She likes her wine, so she has to open a full bottle and somehow finish it.
Oh, geez. Okay.
And then that will not work well for her. But favorite pour, actually, it's a Scotch. My favorite is Lefroy 10-year.
Okay. Interesting.
Hands down
Lefroy.
the bomb. It's peaty, absolutely delicious.
Yeah, smoke bomb.
Smoke, yeah.
Nice. You mentioned your wife. We were stalking your DMs, like, the standard operating procedure for us now, or your Instagram, and we saw that you got married during the pandemic.
I did.
Right?
I did.
Like mid 2021.
July 11th, 2020.
And I think there's some confusion because I saw some pictures from July 2020, but then I saw some pictures a year later as well, and it looked like a wedding as well. So can you tell us a little bit about when did you actually get married? I'm a little confused.
Legally, it was 2020.
Okay.
COVID. We were initially going to have a party in 2020, but then COVID happened, and so
Yeah, illegally married in 2021. Is that what this is now?
in a sense, I guess it was I can't say the word.
It's okay. He
Yes,
had
I can't even
he had some issues with
illegitimate.
Hillsborough. And he kept saying Pillsbury for some reason.
What? It was a completely different words.
I kept on talking about the doughboy. It was a weird conversation.
Yeah, but it was. I guess it was a wedding that wasn't necessarily a wedding because we were already legally married in 2020. We didn't let the pandemic stop us, so we got legally married on paper at my parents' house with my family and her family, and we just signed the document and submitted that. So that was basically 2020 a wedding.
Nice.
And 21, that what you were referring to, was our actual party when we were actually allowed to have people show up to it.
So I've been learning a lot about Indian weddings, especially from our last guest. So how big was yours? Are we talking big fat Indian wedding, modest Indian wedding? How many days? How many events? Tell us a little bit about the wedding.
Just a quick summary. We know what Indian weddings are at this point, but we just want to know, what would you change? If you had to go back and alter something, what would you do?
Damn, that's a lot of questions. So start with your size, and then talk about the knits.
Not your size.
Just to be clear, yeah, please.
We're not getting that weird, okay?
The wedding.
I'm like, what kind of podcast did I join, man?
I know we were talking about what's under the hood of the Camry, but we don't want to know what's under your hood.
It was probably standard Indian wedding, maybe a little bit less. My wife is South Indian, so they don't have the same amount of events that your typical Indian wedding does, but it was still modest number wise as well, because it was still a max that we were allowed to have because of still COVID. The quarantining opened up a bit, but not enough for like the full number. So yeah, we had 2 days.
So you hit capacity. What was that?
Wait, what? I don't think ours was necessarily a capacity
Oh,
because it all happened. We didn't want to push it too hard, so it ended up being, I think, our invitee list ended up being like what, 180 or so.
Oh, modest 180,
Modest
you know,
180,
modest.
Yeah, but for an Indian wedding, you know, 180 is not.
We held
typical.
back. It was 180. Come on. Okay.
Indian weddings, 180 is not.
No, fair. I mean, I think
definitely like middle ground.
I think Harsh was saying like 300.
250. 250 was
okay.
what Harsh was saying.
Oh yeah, my brother's wedding was like 400. So,
Damn. Okay.
Damn, your brother goes out.
well, he didn't have a COVID wedding, so.
Oh, that's fair. I guess yeah, that's true. Like there are a lot of concessions you had to make. I mean, we saw some of the stuff on what was John Krasinski's pod? Something good or a few good things or something nice.
Oh man, I completely forgot.
You know what I'm talking about?
I used to look forward to it
Yeah.
every Saturday or something. It was just like a news roundup.
Yeah.
Some good news.
Some good news. That
good
sounds
news,
right. Yeah, that sounds right. It was
Yeah.
and like they had like a surprise wedding to this couple who had to cancel or delay or whatever it is their wedding. And they had like
The whole
entire
office
friends.
No,
Or
the office
staff.
cast,
Office
yeah.
staff do it. Yeah, our cast. Yeah.
Yeah, the
do it.
cast of Office just started doing dances in the those small Zoom bubbles of how Jim and Pam's wedding was. I don't know if
Yeah.
you guys
I don't
know.
honestly remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But they did it to a random person?
I think it was one of the listener who.
Probably wrote in or
Yeah,
I
wrote
should
down.
have written it as well. Man, dang. I missed out.
it was very early pandemic, so maybe it was before you guys. Before I don't know.
Yeah.
You got married in July. This must have happened like right after everything was locked down. So April, May, I'm thinking.
Guess that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, props to John Krasinski to get everyone to join in a Zoom call.
Yeah, it got acquired, right?
Yeah.
That channel got acquired pretty quickly. And this man, just by showing his face, I don't know how much he made off of it, but made a boatload more money than he already was making. And with the pandemic, I know a lot of streams of The Office were happening. Like it was on all the time in our place.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a avid Office viewer, so I definitely watch a lot of Office, and just I felt like shit not having my wedding done like that.
So I know the one question we're all wondering is, did the person who destroyed your Camry, were they invited to the wedding? Like what was the scene like? Was there beef? Was there tension? What was going on?
Was
Just
it
tell us a
looks?
little bit about the Camry story in general, because I don't think the viewers know.
Oh, the Camry. It's technically my first car. It's 95 silver Toyota Camry. It's my baby. I ended up getting like an actual car that was newer.
I
thought the Camry was an actual car, but fuck
No,
me.
I thought he would.
Well, the Camry was a hand-me-down. That's a fair point. It's a fair point. It's
I
a
thought-
hand-me-down technically from my grandfather.
I
And
thought he was gonna get emotional. Like, he's like,
sounded
no.
like it.
Yeah, he's just like, right now I'm actually getting really emotional thinking about it.
Like, do we need to pour one out for this Camry? Like,
Honestly, I would be totally down for that because he was my little baby.
It was a he.
Yeah, my cars are my friends. I don't know. I just say general
you
terms.
rode a guy?
That's just weird, bro. Why would you go there?
But that's the whole thing. That's why they're all women.
Yes.
But the point is, I got the car, got a new car, gave that old car to my nephew, and he got into a bad accident, which was his fault.
Was he okay?
Yes. Fortunately for him.
When
Oh,
he
jeez.
hesitated, I thought he was like, oh no, he's permanently disabled, but the
I'm
Camry
like, oh
was
my
damaged.
God.
I was debating to be like, unfortunately. I should have said that, though.
Unfortunately, he's alive and doing well, but
Yeah, right.
but the car, my sweet dude, just died.
Sweet
Hey,
guy.
he can still be my baby. I mean, it's like a little child to me, man.
I want everyone to recognize it.
Oh, baby.
We only had to give him one drink for him to open up about this random like love story he has with his Camry.
To strangers, mind you.
To strangers.
Hey,
One drink. Imagine two.
You all know you
so
have
we'll
that
pour him another
one.
one.
You all know you have that one car that you will always stand behind, no matter what. Long in the future, you will remember that one car, and this is that car.
Interesting.
I don't.
I've never been that loyal to a car.
Yeah.
Hey,
Maybe just because I'm poor and like I don't really have like like I'm not getting behind my CRV.
I'm loyal to my car right now because it was very expensive. It was the most expensive thing I bought besides my house. But that's besides the point.
It's also a brand new Tesla, so
weird flex, man. I could afford a house and a car. We get it, man. We get it. Not everyone can live in the 2000 when houses were like a penny. Like, okay.
Hey, listen, I get it. Also, what do you
what
think-
houses were
what
for
houses
a
was I
penny in
buying when I was like
2000?
10 years
It's
old?
called an exaggeration. First of all, in 2007, I was 7. You were not 10.
But I was like in college, man. I get it. I had a chance, but I was a broke college kid. I couldn't take advantage of this like ridiculously low housing market back then and buy houses for even like nickels. You know? But going back here, right? So let's talk a little bit about your work. All right. What do you do? Like just high level, whatever you can and can't tell us. I know that sometimes it's tricky with inside information, but whatever you can tell us about your job, whatever you'd like to do, what are you looking to do in the future, if that's what you want to do, that kind of stuff.
Well, I am it was inventory planner, but the actual title internally is replenishment planner. Basically manage inventory for a hardware company, which is a pretty big company nationwide, actually global. They have over 5,000 stores around the world, and I basically manage it for the domestic side with 15 or so warehouses. Stores are all franchised, so they buy from the warehouse.
Damn, so you control a lot of product, and like you fulfill a lot of the main, like, I guess you basically make sure that the business can run, right? In certain, you said 15 locations?
Yeah, it's the warehouses.
Oh, 15 warehouses, so they probably service, let's say, each of them probably service like 10 stores or something like that.
No,
So
definitely way more.
more than that. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have 5,000 stores worldwide, but predominantly, obviously, it's in America.
Yeah.
So,
So 200 stores to get screwed if this guy takes a little bit too long in the bathroom, or So,
I mean, there's a little bit more to that than just going to the bathroom.
You guys know that's dangerous because you guys know how dangerous it is to be on the toilet for way too long, because I've spammed your guys' phone multiple times with like hundreds of Instagram DMs.
yeah.
that's true.
And
but
TikToks.
and TikToks.
Dude, I have a backlog, man.
But since we started following Darshan and Darshan started following us, he's been sending us a lot of TikToks too.
Dude,
and
it's so fast.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're getting very close, and I like that. And I mean, that hopefully this could build into, you coming back for multiple episodes, hopefully. But just our Instagram conversations, man, we share a lot of memes and gifs. My phone's been blowing up.
I was about to say, I was like, this is not a one-way street here, man. You guys sending it right back. But yes, I get bored. So I see something hilarious, like from the things I've seen about you guys, it seems like you guys have the same humor that I do. So 100%, I'm gonna be blowing up your phones.
Yeah, I will
As
say.
this man over here would love to say.
There's a lot of content our way, and it's actually some of the stuff's pretty good. I think one of the last things I want to cover before we move on here is like I don't want to overlook the bourbon part, right? So there was a Reddit challenge a while back where you only need 5 whiskeys in a collection, and so I'm gonna give you the category. Pick a whiskey. It could be Scotch, bourbon, rye, Japanese, Indian, whatever, right? So I'll start with a cheap mixer.
Oh, and we will question your choices.
Yeah.
So,
We'll question.
Yeah, we will critique, judge everything under the sun.
I don't really do much of the mixers these days, but if I did, let's say I go out to a bar, it would very likely be Jack Daniels.
That makes total sense. I agree.
Jack
Yeah.
and Coke is always a solid drink.
Nothing I can argue with that. Holy
Yeah.
shit! Like I love that.
That's my wedding drink for some reason. Like anytime I go to a wedding, I think I'll go with Jack. Because Scotch, I think they water it down, or I don't know. I just don't trust wedding Scotch. So Jack and Coke makes total sense.
So I will say at weddings, what I do is black and Coke, just because I like a little bit of smokiness. But I know it's sometimes frowned upon to mix Black Label with anything.
Yeah, I'm a bougie bitch, so it ends up being for me double black, because I think double black is like, and Coke is solid.
Oh yeah.
But like double black, you don't get that often. It's not very common to see. Like it's not
No, you can pick it
typical
up at
easy
a-
go to.
You can pick it up at a regular liquor store.
See,
Really?
at my wedding, the premium bar only had black. I don't think it had double black, and I paid for the premium bar option.
And double black is like not cheap. Yeah, it's like $40, $50 with Black
Yeah.
Label, $20, $25. I think maybe $30.
And going back to the fact you said you go to a lot of weddings with Jack. I mean, how often do you see Jack and you're worrying about watered down scotch?
I don't know,
It
man.
comes out of the bottle most of the time.
I don't know, man. It's just like I just don't trust anyone. I guess I don't know. It's just weird. Like Jack and Coke is such an easy drink that you could just have like 10, 15 of those because you get the sugar from the Coke as well.
Yeah.
And you can have a fun time at a wedding with Jack and Coke.
I like Jack and Coke. I do the black and Coke because the smokiness is a little bit not as sweet. Jack is just a little too sweet for me.
Weird. It's weird that I actually find Black Label and Coke a little bit more sweeter than Jack. Well, I guess I don't do a good reasonable ratio. I tend to do a little bit more Coke in my Jack, so it doesn't get like super sweet.
Okay. So the second one is what you call a daily drinker. Okay, something that you wouldn't mind pouring yourself a pour of every day. Now, sometimes a caveat here is, well, sometimes what they do is they talk about like, this can or can't be a super pricey drink because you're like, a bottle because I want to drink it every day, but you can throw caution to the wind.
No, I mean that's fair. I mean it's a tough question though because obviously I mentioned my favorite my favorite whiskey in general is Lafroig 10-year, $65 bottle, but when it comes to daily and reasonable pricing, I'd probably go if I wanted to go with the bourbon of life, it'd probably be more of a special reserve Weller special reserve.
Okay, and I think the big thing with that one is access. Fine.
Yeah, you're right.
I can respect that.
I mean, I actually find it easier to find the special reserve Weller. Like I haven't ran into a situation where I'm like, oh no, I can't locate a special reserve Weller.
Yeah, I think since they're like ramping up production now with like expanding like
Good
Buffalo
point.
Trace.
Yeah.
They're kind of ramping up like a lot of Weller and like it's not as scarce anymore.
Yeah.
Personally, if I were to answer, I think it would be Maker's Mark Cask Strength.
Oh yeah.
It's like a $35 bottle.
That's a good one.
It's 103 proof-ish, and I think it's pretty consistent, but it does have some variance where it's like, oh, I'm tasting something different.
And you find it every day of the week.
So what's the prices range for this category? Usually
so it doesn't matter, but like price could be between $30 and $50. The whole thing with Weller I have with that is if it's everyday pour, like you're pouring yourself an ounce every day. It's a 25-ounce bottle. In a month, you're done. If you can get it every month, then you're solved. But that's the thing.
Speak for yourself on the 1 ounce pour.
Fair enough.
I've been told I have a little twitch in my wrist. What might say.
So I've actually been told about Weller. One of my friends told me that Weller Special Reserve is the best bourbon flavored water I've ever had, and I think that's very accurate.
Yeah. All right, the next one, we'll move a little bit faster. The next one I think is the Friday night pour. So it's like you've wrapped up your week. This is the bottle you go to that, normally it's a little bit better. You look forward to it. You don't pour it yourself every day.
It's like, I get why you're asking these questions, but like, I'm not very particular to these kind of things because I really don't have many repeats. The only repeats I generally have are like the hard to find bourbons. So like on a Friday, I feel like most of these answers will probably end up being the same thing. Probably like the Lafroig 10-year.
I would say you probably go Lafroig 10 then.
Yeah, it's my go-to. It'd be like the Friday night. It's delicious. I'm gonna want to drink it anytime, any day. Especially when you have more than one, it tastes better.
See, like any other bourbon or Scotch drinker, everyone's super proud of their bar. And like before, he showed us a picture of his bar, and he says that he's like about like the simplicity, just Lafroig and stuff. I saw Stag, Blends, and E.H. Taylor in this man's bar, and he's gonna talk about simplicity and like, oh yeah, I don't have
but I
any
mean, it's
special
not like something that he drinks every day, right?
He's a simple man, but he's got like 40, 50 bottles. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Who is this dude?
Yeah, I would say probably like what, 42 now, maybe.
Oh,
I mean, I generally kind of count, so I'm pretty sure I'm around 42.
I would personally go for a Macallan.
Yeah, I would say that's my
classic
That's a
Scotch.
decent Scotch.
Yeah,
that you do like a treat yourself kind of thing, a special occasion kind of thing. Or no, sorry, not special.
The Friday night. Yeah.
Next one is what do you do to impress your guests? Like a bottle you bring out for that.
Yeah. See, that always comes down to who is the guest.
If we were to come over to your place right now, what's a bottle that you're giving us?
He doesn't really know us that well, but let's say like.
But he's gonna impress us, right?
Oh yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I came on the podcast, so I mean, I'll probably pull out the blends.
Oh, snap.
I'm gonna hold back that Stag though.
I've
got
never
two stags.
gotten a blend.
I saw 2 stags in that photo.
Yes, but how long it take me to get to? Too long.
hey, I'll take the blends. You know what?
Listen, I don't have access to either of them. I'll take whatever you throw at me, man.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's in a glass, but yeah.
Always. Maybe
Yeah.
some ice,
Right.
but that's up to you.
Oof.
I won't be that particular.
And then the final one is special occasion, like
Celebration.
your birthday, anniversary. Day after your wedding, or the night of your wedding.
The first time you try anal. Like, I mean,
Yeah, whatever, man.
You know,
So-
pop 2 cherries at once.
Yeah, first time on a podcast.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe your first time. I don't know.
I don't usually buy expensive. I did have one, which was before my wedding. My father was able to get a hold of the 10-year Rip Van Winkle. Honestly, unfortunately, at that point, I wasn't really as into bourbon as I am now, so I didn't really appreciate it. So that was basically done in one day with everyone having a little
Bro.
sip out of it.
I've had it once. It is so good.
It is.
That one holds up.
But I didn't appreciate it. That was the downside. Now I'm like, I shouldn't have done it. Back then, it made sense, because when I was like, I never opened a bourbon when I only drink scotch at that point.
So I don't have this one, but I really want this, the Weller Full Proof. That's something that I really want, and I love the taste of it. I've tried it a couple of times at a friend's place, and man, it's really good.
I've accepted that that's only going to be a drink that I get at bars. Like I'm never going to own one of them. But I've told my wife, I'm like, if you find this bottle and pay, it's a $70 bottle, and I was like, you know what, if you pay $200 or less, just get it.
Yeah, Full Proof it's good. I've had it before personally. If it was between that and any other Wellers, I'd probably go with the 12-year.
Yeah.
First I had, I was actually very smooth, very surprisingly good. Granted, I don't know how long it's been at that bar opened, so I don't know what a fresh pour tastes like, but man, that was delicious.
I don't
Makes
know,
sense.
but for me, for celebratory stuff, I lean more towards scotch. So for me, I end up, I actually had this at my brother's wedding. I had the McKellen Rare Cask Black.
Ooh.
It was
Never even heard of that.
delicious. It's an expensive bottle. We got it for the occasion. Me and all the other groomsmen kind of just had a toast before he went out for his reception. It was a beautiful bottle, beautiful scotch, and
Nice.
I look forward every year for his anniversary because he kind of opens it up every year during
Nice.
that time.
I'm surprised that's not done. How many groomsmen did he have?
I thought you were gonna go with Blue Label. I thought you were about to mention that. So awesome! Like thanks for walking us through that. I think we figured out your personality a little bit with that, but I think the next segment I want to do is, so we have a couple Reddit stories, but do you want to sandwich them?
Yeah, let's sprinkle it in. So,
Yeah.
okay, we'll start with the first Am I the Asshole story. So this is a short one, and I just want to know your guys' opinions for it, okay? Am I the asshole for telling my son that he's obviously gay?
Where does this go?
My son's 17 male has apparently been in the closet for the past 7 months. So my son is fairly masculine / straight, acting if that makes sense. However, he's very obviously had a boyfriend, 18 male, for the past 7 months. He sometimes baby talks to this boy, hugs him all the time, has called him handsome, shares clothes, sits way too close to each other to the point where they're basically cuddling, closes his bedroom door when he's with him but not with any other friends, and sees him like every day, buys him gifts, and for the last 7 months he's been smelling great and has his hair fixed really nice and dresses nicer, and among other things.
And I caught him giving him a hand job.
Smells nice.
I mean,
The part of the story?
Well,
Yeah.
that I get. That I get. Like, he's in a relationship, so he's taking care of himself.
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah, but it's funny that it was very obvious that he.
I mean, this guy is like dressing up, making his hair. You know, like when you're at home, I've never done my hair. Like unless I'm showering, I'm not doing anything.
It's not even like like he's doing his hair, he's showering, whatever. This guy's like a high schooler, like almost college kid. He's not taking care of himself like that. He's not trying to look presentable unless he definitely has to.
Yeah, definitely. So continuing, today I asked my son if he was going to invite his boyfriend on our trip, and he got awkward and said, "That's not funny." I asked what he meant, and he said, "I'm straight. That's not funny." I laughed, and when I realized he was serious, I started laughing even harder. I mean, it would be funny, like, you know, you could see that. I don't know.
That's a tough one.
It's weird to out him like that. I think that's the big thing here, right? Like you're outing him. Let's say he turns around and says, "Yeah, you've outed him," right? And then, I don't know. The problem is we've had someone come out to us, me and my wife, and basically he was like, we were like, "Oh, like we knew," and he was like kind of upset about that. And so I get it.
Are you supposed to pretend that you didn't know?
It's a big thing, and you're supposed to like make it a big thing, and I get it, because you're like, this is big revelation, this is big thing, like one of the biggest moments of their life. It's like you kind of, let's just think about like you proposing and people being like, "Oh, we knew you were gonna do this,"
But that's totally fine, right? Because the proposal is for the person you're proposing to. Coming out, if it's, isn't the whole point generalizing it?
So I think,
or normalizing it? Sorry.
So I think you can't simplify it like that, because I think for people that come out, it's not a matter of like the same as a proposal. I think for them it's you come out to the people closest to you, right? So it's like, I want to share this part of me with you, and for you to kind of just say like, "Oh, I knew, don't worry about it. Well, I support you," or don't. It's like invalidating that.
How is that invalidating?
Well, so we're on the other side where we're like, we knew and we've been okay with it, knowing, and we are going to continue. But for them, it's like
you took the moment away from me.
I can see where they're coming from, because it's like a gray area, right? They come out, you let's say right, but I think in their mind it's like, "Oh yeah, we knew," but you probably should add like, "Appreciate you telling us this yourselves," right? Because it's one thing assuming it could make you you could be an ass just assuming these things. Because I've met a person in my life that first time I talked to him, interacted with him for a while, I thought he was gay, and then I found out he's married with a wife and kids, and I was like, "Well, hold on, never mind. I became an asshole," right? So like, you gotta like acknowledge the fact that they came up to you, gave you this very big information that they never told anyone. Right?
Yeah, like just because your assumptions don't always end up being true, and like just
no, I think that's not the point that I was trying to make. But we can move on. Like I'll move on with the story. So I told him he was very obviously in a relationship with a guy and did a terrible job hiding it. He got emotional and started asking me not to tell his dad. My husband already knows. Like I said, it was obvious. Then he got upset, saying I outed him when he wasn't ready. He hasn't said a word to me in the last couple of days. Am I the asshole?
So, are you asking is she asking if she's the asshole for kind of, we've been using the word outing him, for outing him?
Yeah, basically, I mean, she thinks that she's just being supportive and she's not like saying she's against it or anything. Mm-hmm. She's just saying she knew it, like, and she's okay with it. Like, it's totally fine. Like, I don't care about it. You're very cute and obvious, and they support it. But from his perspective,
it's a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll take it from two different sides, and then
kind of like the guy. Sorry.
The big thing is, right, like, so about all this is, so from the lens of what we were talking about before, about this big thing about coming out, all that kind of stuff, and she kind of robbed him of that. Whether he was ever going to come out to his mom or not is TBD, but she kind of robbed him of that. In that case, she is the asshole. But from her perspective of what her intentions were, I don't think she's the asshole.
Interesting. Okay. I kind of agree, yeah. Darshan, do you have any takes on this?
Oh, I can see where you're saying. I think you're right on that, because as a parent, I'm not a parent, but I would assume as being a parent, you don't know how to go about it, right? And if it was as obvious as you make it seem with your child, like, how can you really go about it? Should you go up to your child and be like, "Hey, I know," right? Like,
and I think that's what she did, yeah.
Right, because then he completely disregarded, said no. So now you're just like, is he actually? And he really wants to come out to you later. Like, you're not an asshole as a parent, in my opinion, but in the situation, based on your kid's reaction, I think you probably are the asshole.
So here's what the top-rated comments said. When I was 17 and watching TV with my parents, out of the blue, my dad turned to me and said, "You know, it would be okay if you were gay, right?"
What?
That's a random point.
I laughed it off and said okay and went about my day. Within 6 months, I was questioning.
Wait, hold on. Sorry, who posted this?
This is just a random commenter.
Oh, okay. I'm like, wait a minute. Is this the kid?
No. It took me several more years before I was comfortably calling myself bi and coming out to my friends and family. I think I must have given off vibes to my parents for dad to come straight out and say it. But at that point, he just assumed and make comments alluding to nothing, basically nothing. I was given time and space to reach to that conclusion on my own. You took that away from your son instead of saying something to the effect of, if you are, cool. If not, we love you regardless. You forced him to confront the identity before he was ready.
That's fair.
That's a valid comment. That's kind of what we're kind of hinting at, is that like, you know, like we're taking something by doing this, we're taking something away from them, and you know, it's not right, but it's all, like I said, right? The road to hell is paved with good intentions, and so that's why I'm torn on whether she's the asshole or not. So
the votes, Reddit does this thing where they'll like, everyone will vote and basically give a tag. Yes, she is the asshole in this one.
I think it's because of how passe she was about it. Like, you know, like if you genuinely didn't know and you confront your kids like, hey, like, you know, you're inviting your boyfriend, and he's like, oh, I don't have a boyfriend, I'm straight. At that point, any sane person's like would be like, hey, I'm gonna leave this subject because clearly they're not comfortable with it, and maybe they're not ready.
Yeah, I don't think what they're kind of brushing over here is like, how much did she push, right? Obviously, she's not gonna put that. Like, how much did she like kind of like be like, okay, it's okay, you can tell me. I know, I've seen this, and like, you know, all the things she laid out for us, she probably laid out for him. He basically was like, I'm backed in a corner, and there's nothing to do. And you know, I'm going to generalize an entire generation here, but like baby boomers, Gen X, Gen Y, I don't know where it starts and stops. I'm a millennial, but they this stuff wasn't okay for them, so it's a big deal for them, or they think it's a big deal to just be okay with it versus letting it be on their own time. That's kind of like the vibe I've been getting for like my parents, from really the generalization of baby boomers in general and Gen X, whatever, is that like they just did the work, they struggled, they suffered, and they died.
Do you guys think that some people of that generation that, like, you know, where this wasn't normalized, of the ones that do think that this is okay and support them and like, you know, are allies, do you think they kind of rush sometimes to accept as a way to like pat themselves on the back, be like, oh look, I'm one of the good ones? Because we have some of that in every sort of you know progressive movement. Do you think that also applies to parents or other supportive family members?
Yeah, have we talked about this out of the pod here? Because I feel like I have a lot of opinions about this, which I'll lay out a little bit of it, but like I think there's you know, I fully support people being gay, people being bi, people being pan, anything, right? But my whole thing is, I think we're in a society right now where you have to aggressively love them
a little bit more than
more than you need to, right? Like I feel weird making fun of, like, this can sound weird, but like someone who's gay, right? Like if they're good friends with me, I might make fun of them for that sometimes, and they, you know, are okay with it. But I sometimes have to think back on it because I'm like society doesn't make fun of you for being straight, you know what I mean? And so like there's no reciprocity, right? And that's the whole thing.
Like you guys have multiple times made fun of my exes and my dating choices. Mm-hmm. I would have like I know that like you would hesitate if it's someone that you know that you know is not heterosexual.
Well, that's the first Am I the Asshole? So we could talk about our next segment, which is gonna lighten up the mood a little bit, because I think this went in a very different direction than I intended.
So you know what? Let me do this. I'm gonna do a quick news roundup. There's some points that we can stop and talk, but a lot has happened. Like literally this week, a lot has happened. So I'm gonna start with the least impactful and try to rank it in the way of most impactful, right? And then we'll talk about one thing that we wanted to talk about last week. So first, mortgage rates came down a little bit for the first time. I'm excited because I'm trying to find another place. I'm trying to move out. This has been helpful. It's down to about 7 to 7.2%. Very small, but forward progress, right? GTA 6, finally Rockstar Games dropped a trailer for that one. And I'll tell you right now, that was awesome.
It looks so real. Some of the characters actually look like real people. And the coolest part is that some of the clips in the trailer were inspired by real events.
Yeah.
So the alligator in that trailer was actually something that was like a TikTok reel. Similarly, like the girl twerking on the car, on top of the car, also happened in real life. These are like actual TikTok viral videos that they made it into a video game.
Bro, I bought a PS5 in anticipation of this game in a year and a half.
I think I saw the exact same video you saw, and their reference was the great state of Florida.
Yeah, if Florida Man was a game.
The gator was in Florida. The girl twerking on top of a car, Florida.
I will say 10 years of development, I'm actually pretty happy with what we got. Or are getting. So,
Do you think they're going to make it like Fortnite though? Where it's like a open world thing, because everyone's doing that, right?
Oh, no. GTA is...
Well, GTA is open world, but like this is I don't know, like
Like
gamify
they have
the
seasons.
Yeah.
And like you have to buy seasonal passes or whatever. I hope not. With the price of $70 and then a choice to get the premium version, quote unquote, I don't think I should be paying seasonal passes.
Yeah, the premium stuff, the premium version is, I think it's just collectability, right? This is the first GTA game on the PS5, right? Those kinds of things. So,
So when you said Fortnite, I immediately went to the kid level wise, but I guess with the season wise, it's probably going to be very similar, because with Fortnite you pay what $10 to get the season pass every time. You get V-Bucks, what they call it, and you get an X1, whatever. It's a side point, but the point of it is you get new skins, new weapon skins, and like new characters and everything else. So that's what the point of the season is. Well, I play Call of Duty all the time. That's what they do.
The main story is not going to change, right? So all it'll be is, I'm thinking, what I'm going to guess here is going to be maybe DLC, maybe some some loot crates or whatever you get from season pass. I don't personally get them, any of them. I play the game, call it, and then sometimes play online. And so the online functionality is going to stay the same. Maybe new things you can do online, like I think in GTA they added heists. GTA 5, they added heists, which was kind of cool. But moving on, I think the next thing that I'll put on, and it's going to be weird to putting this in the middle, is Tesla presented their Cybertruck.
They started delivery, not just presented.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah.
Oh man,
the
okay.
first delivery happened on that day.
Dang. Okay. A lot pricier than I thought it was going to be. I think you and I were definitely speculating, and we were all off.
We were so off. I was like, if it was $40,000, I was actually considering getting the real world version.
Oh yeah, you showed me your reservation, right?
Yeah,
like, I mean, it was $100, which is pretty cheap for a Tesla. Mine wasn't like I didn't reserve or pre-order or anything, but like I knew that the one you'd want to get would have to be about 75 for it to make sense. Because that's the whole thing, right? Like you're getting about 10 grand or whatever in savings.
So, kind of on that note, then, how do you guys feel about the look of it? Because personally, I think it's ugly.
Personally, I'm the opposite. I actually think because of the cool futuristic design, it's not about the meme culture and standing off. Because meme culture will. Because I was watching someone on Twitter explaining that imagine this in 10 years where the meme culture has died down, and then you'll see the manufactured irregular or uneven spaces between the components, because they're using like the stainless steel, like the way they're like cutting it and creating it, not one, like all of them will not look the same. There will be some differences, right? So they're like, you're gonna start noticing that in 5 to 10 years. Will you be okay with it? If the answer is yes, then go with the Cybertruck. Otherwise, don't do it, because it's great right now, but in the future it might not be.
I get you. Look at the one in I forgot what they call it, but the black one.
The matte black one looks so cute.
Dope. Like I don't like the Cybertruck, but I saw the matte black one. And I'm like, yo.
So that's not Tesla doing it. That's a first party accessory company that will skin that whole Cybertruck for you.
Okay, that was dope.
Isn't it a third party?
No, it's first party.
Tesla's
own.
Tesla
contracted. So.
Yeah. I didn't know that. But
I know that.
I figured that's what first party meant. So
Never heard that.
So already pretty strong. Next one, Google drops their Gemini AI.
Wait, can we talk about the video when they introduced the Cybertruck? Sorry, I know.
So I will say I listen to Rogan a lot, and so they talked about Yeah, he had Elon on about a few weeks ago. Clearly, like a strategic move on Elon's part, because he talks a lot about like, hey, I want to stress so much that it is tough making a car. He talked about production for so long, and I'm like, what is he trying to tell us?
Yeah. I mean, he literally raced, that video was just blew my mind. He raced the 911 Porsche, and the Cybertruck beat it, carrying another a Porsche 911 in its like towing it.
I totally forgot about that. Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the video where they first introduced it and he threw a rock at it and it broke the window.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he's like, it's indestructible.
They redid it.
But it was like a shitty rock this time. And
listen, he learned from his mistakes, man. Don't throw a boulder when you can throw a pebble.
It was a metal ball that he's like, you know what? Why don't you just chuck it? He chucks it at the stupid window, breaks the fucking window, obviously.
Did that man get a contract with the MLB? Like,
he should have.
Yeah, but I think I think you brought up a good point of like the strength of it, right? Elon talked about a little bit. It's like, you know, in movies when people hide behind cars, the car doors and stuff. He's like, dude, those aren't bulletproof. That bullet is gonna hit you.
It's gonna go through both the doors.
Yeah, right. And so now he's like, this car can survive. And he wrote a video or whatever it is of like unloading an entire Tommy gun on the armored part, not the glass.
Yeah.
But and it's like, yeah. And Rogan fired one of his crossbow arrows at it. It left a very tiny dent, almost like, you know, just like an impact dent. But the metal of the bolt bent, and like it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool to see. So clearly this car is designed. It's like when Arnold Schwarzenegger petitioned to make the Hummer street legal, way back when, right? This is at next level. I will say it looks a little bit too much like that vehicle in the Warthog in Halo. I think that was the early memes that were coming around with this car. But moving on. So I already kind of said it, but like Google drops within Bard, their Gemini AI.
Not just Bard, Gemini multimodal for everything. So
for everything. Okay.
Yeah, so they dropped 3 versions of it. The first version is the Gemini Ultra. The second one is Gemini Pro, and then there's the Gemini Nano. So Gemini Nano is basically going to be running on your phones. So the Pixel 8 Pro, I believe, is going to be getting it this month, and it can do like on-device AI, you know, take it to the next level, basically. Then the Ultra is going to be the Pro is integrated into Bard, and then the Ultra is going to be for hardcore developers and business people. So it's going to be really cool because it beat, I think there's like an AI thing where you're supposed to meet the overall score of 52 or 53% is considered really high, and it beats, out of the 52 categories, it beat ChatGPT 4, which is I think the latest version of ChatGPT, in 50 of them. So that's a pretty big leap. Like Google's out here to, like, you know, finally compete.
Yeah, I mean, somebody's competing finally, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I will say, right, ChatGPT's got a little bit of a headway here, and I think they did talk about like GPT-4 or GPT-5 coming out next couple years.
Yeah.
But like that's gonna be transformative too. But again, the oh my God, Moore's law, that timeline is shrinking fast, a little too alarmingly fast, and I'm getting a little scared. I don't know about you guys, but I'm also excited in the same way.
Well, this would be considered the singularity, right?
No, not yet. I mean, we're pretty far from that.
So that's one of the benefits of all this. But you're 10, 15, 20, however many years away from that. I mean, the estimates were 2040. That's kind of like this running time or year. But that's like dated for 15 years ago too. So
see, I think we're never going to see it in our lifetime. My kids will probably see it, but I personally don't believe we will see it. I hope to be wrong, or actually no, I hope to be right. I'm not sure. This is all very tricky.
We've all seen The Matrix. Things can go real wrong.
The Matrix, real wrong, real
Terminator.
fast. Terminator, the other way.
Yeah.
Which is a little
Rick
bit.
and Morty.
Portal
Shout
guns.
out. I forgot what I was gonna say. Damn. That's fine. We'll come back eventually. And then finally, before the next actual segment I want to kind of talk about here, Times Person of the Year has been revealed. Now, I thought that just the candidates were out, but you guys corrected me. I suspected this person would win, but let me drop some of the candidates first. Do this Oscar style, right? Jerome Powell with the his interest rate management for inflation. King Charles III for becoming king. I guess that's what it is. Vladimir Putin for something. I don't know.
For what?
Ukraine.
For existing.
Barbie. I don't know for what, but I know she's been very influential last year about body positivity, all that kind of stuff, and just
But like it's just person.
Character is
the
a
character?
person, yeah.
Character is not a person. The character is a character.
Listen, it's gonna be okay. You are enough.
Thank you.
The Trump prosecutors were on there.
For what? They didn't do a good job.
Yeah, I mean, so that part I'm like, whatever. They prosecuted him for holding on to like some documents. I've been hearing a lot of pods about like how if somebody else was in there in that position, you wouldn't have like a federal case for something like this. You just kind of knock it off and be done. I really actually agree with this next one. Sam Altman for OpenAI. Right?
Yeah.
Now, whether he was the single person that should be recognized for this,
I think that's a company-wide thing, right? Like,
Right,
I
like,
mean,
he's
yeah,
the
he
face.
led it, but
he's the face, right? So like
Yeah.
that, I get why he's on there. Then Xi Jinping from China, right? I mean, there's a lot of big stuff happening in the Chinese government, or just in general in China with the position, its financial position as well as its like political position in the world, becoming like a kind of like I think he's becoming the modern leader. He was what I would say the nearest person was like Obama, right? Like the internationally respected person. Trump kind of degraded that a bit, and then Biden's not doing a good job either, right? And finally, the winner, Taylor Swift.
My God.
totally expected.
We called it, man, right? Like we talked about her influence on not only like the world, we talked
The
about it on
NFL.
like, this one separate segment, and then her impact on the NFL.
Yeah, and her, like the economical benefit of each city she tours at. Yeah,
I'm
like-
going to go with it's all because of Travis Kelce.
Dude, it's funny. I was talking to my wife, Darshan. I was talking to my wife about this, and I was like, "Hey, who's Travis Kelce?" And she's like, "Isn't that the dude that's dating Taylor Swift? Not that he's one of the best tight ends probably one of the best tight ends in history. Like Tony Gonzalez, Travis Kelce, Rob Gronkowski, they're all in the same conversation." Now, personally, from this list, I actually would probably pick either Jerome Powell or Sam Altman as the winner. Yeah, you know what? Let me take off Jerome Powell. I'll take Altman or Xi Jinping, but that's because I'm more of, as you can imagine, I'm more of a finance guy.
I would actually, this is a little controversial, but like based on the theme that we had last year of like, the conflict going on with Ukraine and stuff, this year I would pick the Doctors Without Borders, like all the doctors that volunteered to fight in whatever war, either whether it be Palestine versus Israel.
Pick from the list, man. What the
I know.
hell?
I don't.
This
think
guy going above and beyond, extra credit here again.
There's also a reason why they weren't included, probably.
I feel like
that
so.
was a bad point.
I think the work that Doctors Without Borders does in general
Yeah.
should put them on the list every year, and I think that's probably why they keep them off. There are a lot of people that you would just like think about, like Amnesty International, right? Like the Peace Corps, all that kind of stuff. Like those people are always doing good. That one, I'm personally not built to do, right?
Yeah.
Like even if I wanted to and like had the means of not the means, but like wanted to and did it, I just don't have the ability to do that kind of stuff. But yeah, but I think the big thing we want to talk about, and that's why we're waiting for you, because we know, and it's confirmed based on the content you've been sending us and spamming us on Instagram about. Let's talk about. We'll start with the Attack on Titan finale, but I know you're a very avid anime lover, so let's start with that. Like, first of all, did you read the manga?
No. I did read the ending because I had to wait 3 years before they actually officially ended it.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Did you like the anime ending?
Yeah. Because it kind of kept in line of what their goal was. Nice little curveball, in my opinion, where he does kill like 80% of the world, which I kind of, honestly, I am one of those guys, but like, based on the show and how they were treating him, I was actually all for it.
I thought the show would take place, and I thought that the rumbling would just kind of be like a Japan-China thing, but the fact that they mentioned it in the anime was kind of cool. That it was like 80% of the entire world,
No, I respect that they did that. Mass genocide. I was with my boy, Eren Yeager, till the end. Yeah, mass genocide for the people you love, I guess. And I one thing I did find weird from the TV show compared to the manga. Can we talk about that one scene where Eren and Armin are talking, where it seemed like they're about to kiss each other?
Yeah, that was
got
weird.
a little weird. That got a little weird. I thought they were gonna make some editorial leeway, whatever the direction they wanted with that one.
So I know the three of us saw it together, and each one of us, when that happened, we each were like, "Whoa!" And then because like that would have been the ultimate reveal right there, right? That they like that.
That was the love story.
Fuck
that-
Mikasa, I guess.
like,
I mean,
knew
John wanted to take Mikasa to his casa, so I mean,
I will say, like I was never shipping them, but the fact that it happened, I was like, you know what, my man earned it. Like John, like
they didn't
dude,
explicitly say it though.
No,
It was like a scene,
You know
but
what,
it was like a half of his face or whatever. So like it's speculation, but in the
Yeah, you're
manga
right.
they actually showed it.
Yes.
You're
I was
right,
about
you're
to
right.
say there was
Yeah.
an entire in the manga they specifically showed it when after Eren's dead
You're-
and goes into the future.
Yeah.
She comes with him and a baby.
You're right. I'm mixing those two up because they did a lot of good stuff from there, shot for shot or page for page or whatever. And I will say the ending was very well done. Like I was skeptical that they were like, you know, this is season 4, part 3, part 2 of this. Like, and I'm like, dude, I'm losing track of what the fuck we're watching right now.
But you have to say in sort of writing in anime, like, you know, anime is a very good form of storytelling in general.
Yeah,
That's why I
yeah.
recommend it so much.
Artistic way.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that Attack on Titan still came out from left field, even in this amazing genre, right? With like you genuinely start the show thinking, oh, it's about these fucking Titans and killing Titans, and it goes to, oh, mass genocide for my friends, and I'm gonna set them and conspire to set them up in a way where the world thinks they're heroes,
Yeah.
and they will be safe.
And I'll be honest, one of the things that really got me was, again, in season 4, part 2, towards the end of it, they there was this one scene where two of them were attacking, like two of them, I think Connie and somebody else were fighting, or Connie and Armin, and they were basically like with two of the people they trained with, right? And I'll tell you right now, like there was a very easy scene to draw, probably like roughly speaking, compared to the rest of it in anime, because it was that scene was carried by the dialogue, and I don't see that common. Like I don't think that's very common in anime, and like that I'm like this scene could win, nominate this show for like an Emmy, Oscar, whatever it is. Like it was so well done, and the fact that I acknowledge and recognize that, like in Attack on Titan, which is an action anime, blows my mind.
Kind of on that, little two things. One, based on what you just said, and two, something a little bit different. But yes, that's actually the biggest thing I generally do agree with anime actually, as a whole. That's why I'm actually into it more than watching regular shows, is they are able to portray human emotions on a whole new, different level.
Yeah.
Because they don't have to worry about an actor visually showing it. They can animate it. It's just all voice specifically. They could bring that full emotional impact out. And then kind of bridging off that was like with Attack on Titan, their storylines, since I didn't read it before, every single big thing was a complete twist. Never would expect it to happen, right? Because the very last episode that came out, right? I mean, you found out that Eren was basically responsible for killing his own mother, right?
Yo, that was wild.
But you never would have thought about it.
It was just a
at the
one-liner.
beginning.
He dropped a fucking one-liner, and we're like, yeah,
It wasn't Berthold's time to die.
yeah.
I think I totally agree. And just aside from the dialogue, like you said, I think one of the biggest factors that like really carried the show, in my opinion, is the voice actors. Like, oh my god, they did such a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
Like I still like, I think my favorite part of my favorite 3-part run of this episode was like, you know, around season 3, I believe, when they had Hero.
Yeah.
When
oh
they
my
went back
God.
to Shiganshina, and like Commander Erwin's speech, where like, you know, where he's pretty much, it was a suicide march.
Yeah.
You know,
My soldier's rage.
Yeah, my soldier's rage. You know, like it's one of the best voice acting and speech I've heard in all of, you know, TV shows.
There's so many TikToks about it. One and two, like the recruit. I mean, again, I felt because you felt the fear in his recruits, and then he gives a speech, and you're like, they're riding to their death, and they know it, and they're okay with it.
I would say it is. There's not many speeches in anime, as I watched a lot of them that really stick home. That one definitely number one. the only closest one I could ever think of is what's his face?
Vegeta?
From Naruto. God, what's the
Kakashi?
Pain?
No, the big bad guy. Oh my God,
Obito.
The big Uchiha.
Madara.
Madara speech.
Yeah.
Man, that was that, and
This might get me to watch Naruto, by the way. So choose your next words carefully.
I mean, that's all I'm gonna say. I mean, honestly, my next words is it's worth a watch. I don't get the hype.
So
Okay.
here's what I'll say. Even if I say all the spoilers right now, by the time you watch this show
How
or
many
get up to
episodes-
that,
Yeah, how many episodes are there of Shippuden?
Shippuden is 700, and then
No.
Yeah.
No, they're not 700.
I think it's
episodes.
700 total between that and Naruto.
Oh,
Well, actually, maybe
that
take it
could
back.
be.
There's a lot of filler in both of them.
yeah.
A lot. It's like
And then-
40% of the show is filler at
And then
least.
Baruto's at about 250 right now.
Yeah, no.
And that's like
Naruto-
90% filler.
Oh, it
That
says-
is 90%
it says
filler.
500 even. It says.
Yeah, Naruto Shippuden has 500 episodes even.
Yeah. Oh no, that's no problem. Yeah, 700, 500. Oh, piece of cake.
Piece of cake, yeah.
Oh, I got one. You should watch One Piece.
Stop
Over
it.
1,000.
So
Stop it.
I'm actually glad you brought up One Piece because I know you're a big fan, and I saw a recent interview with the voice actor that voiced Luffy. She is very old, and one of her regrets is that, or one of her predictions is she's not going to be able to keep up with being Luffy until the show ends.
I thought I heard completely different. I heard that they're trying to wrap up that show.
So
in
I've heard
manga.
both.
that's cute.
Basically, they're saying that the manga is. Even Ichiro Oda has said himself that he's on the final arc. He's basically they're powering through it. There's no added fillers anymore. There's
Wait,
no like
manga or anime?
the manga.
The manga.
Okay.
But
then how
the
do you-
manga or the anime is caught up to the point where they're going to start running through. They've already started this run. It
Oh,
should
so
hopefully
they
be
caught up with
done.
that. They caught up with it.
The,
In a few
the
years
anime's
from-
not caught up.
Oh, okay.
But the
Okay.
manga's ahead, but the anime caught up to the point they ended the Wano arc. And after the Wano arc, it's a bunch of things that are supposed to be coming out. But then obviously manga's ahead of it. But they're saying, we'll see how much it turns out, but like a couple of years maybe 5 max. It should be over.
Oh, geez. Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
not bad.
That's not
Yeah,
bad then.
so
yeah.
the voice
how old
actor-
is this lady?
I don't know her age, but she has said that she might not be in the business long enough, or she won't be able to do justice to the voice long enough for the manga to end.
I get you.
So she's gonna have to. There's gonna be a successor, and she just hopes that the fans welcome the successor that she chooses with grace instead
Yeah.
of antagonizing them. So what are your thoughts? Like, Luffy, very iconic character. When you talk about anime, it goes Goku, Luffy.
I mean, the big three. they
Yeah,
like
like the
to say.
big three.
Luffy's
right?
in the big three?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Luffy-
actually, but the big three does not include Goku. Goku's ahead of that.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
Naruto,
and
Luffy,
the Bleach guy.
and
Ichigo.
Ichigo from Bleach. Yes,
Oh, okay. Okay.
Kurosaki.
Goku just wins everything. Because,
Yeah, I was like-
Because they hold Goku. Dragon Ball came out technically before the big three even started. Because One Piece started in '99, but I'm pretty sure Dragon Ball came out in the '80s.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're not incorporated into the big three because
Yeah.
it's above. They basically view it as Goku as the father.
It's
Yeah,
the
fair
genesis of like anime, like as a
I guess
culture.
because those characters have been around long enough to mature in people's eyes, right?
Yeah.
Bleach, I'm surprised. Is there that much content in Bleach?
It's a lot of episodes. Yes, they had a 10-year hiatus for a bit, right? And they stopped before the 1,000-Year Blood War, which most Bleach fans would say is the arc, which they did start.
I thought recently.
They started that recently, and honestly, holy shit.
It's good.
Yeah, literally. I mean,
Bleach
I'm
is-
not gonna say names or anything, but people die real
Yeah.
quick, real fast, who made it through the entire show.
So
And
it's
they
more
start
like
dying
a,
real quick, and it's like 24
It's
episodes.
converting
now.
into an Attack on Titan situation. I mean,
Or-
this shit was written already. Way
Don't
back,
even
yeah.
talk about anime that's. I know in a little bit we're going to talk about one of my favorite animes that you assholes have not watched yet.
Stop it.
if
Did
you say Jujutsu Kaisen, I swear to God, I'm going to come over there and whoop your ass.
Hey man, that's a good show.
It's a good show, and
A
here's
show
the
that's
thing.
canceled, we're
There's
not going to
a
be talking
reason.
about it.
There's
Was
a
canceled?
reason.
It's
They're
canceled.
saying it, yes, because Mappa's not treating their animators that well. So a lot of people are like,
Oh, really?
they're real overworked. There's
Damn.
one of the animators
I mean,
actually posted on Twitter
Is this turning
saying,
into
"Kill
video
me
game culture?
quickly."
Yep.
Yeah.
This is basically VFX. This is Disney. Mappa's basically Disney trying to churn out movies and
I was gonna say, I mean, Mappa would like Attack on Titan, right? Like,
I think it's very accurate because like, and it was normalized way before, because if you look at like, I think we mentioned like Akira Toriyama and all of these creators of anime, it was very normalized for them to just sleep, wake up in their office, and draw again.
Yeah.
Because they had to churn out chapters every week.
So I have a question. I want to go back a little bit to Attack on Titan because this has been stuck in my head a little bit. We said that, all of these things that Eren did. Eren, let his mom die and all of these things.
No, he made him. He basically killed her.
He basically killed her.
Yeah.
I think that's completely bull because I don't think he had control over anything. He just let things happen. He just had the vision, but I don't think he had any control over anything. Even making his friends heroes, I don't think he had a choice in this. I think this
he manufactured the choices were present. These things were going to happen. Either that Titan goes and kills Bertolt, or it goes and kills other people and his mom. So he had to choose.
No, he saw Bertolt in the future. Therefore, he couldn't let that happen because he sees time not linearly. He sees time.
That's not a bad point actually, because he knows what his decision was.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I saw Bertolt, so he's like, I have to let my mom die.
Exactly. So none of these was his choice because he
That's a
saw
valid
different.
point. That's a good
He couldn't
point.
change it, but he had the power to do so because he saw in the future that this person was alive.
I don't think he even had the power, to be honest. Like,
Because the point of the power is he's able to see the past and the future.
The Attack
Yeah.
on
Right, so
Titan's wild, man.
He knew how the future would end. So, right, I feel like Eren, I agree with what you were saying. Eren probably in the end did not have
Any
the
choice.
official decision because he knew it was already established in a sense.
they kept mentioning the freedom aspect of it, and he was the one character who never had any freedom whatsoever.
Because the number 140 is the number of freedom in Japan, and the episode ended. The show ended at episode 139. Because he never got his
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's another mindfuck.
Yeah,
to add to the list of mindfucks on this show.
Yeah, they had so much symbolism and so many things happening.
Because what is it, 10 years? Something about 10 years. It's like no, 13 years.
13 years,
13 years because that's the life of the Titans.
Right.
Once you inherit one, like it's all kinds of shit, dude. All kinds of fucking shit.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of Hodor in Game of Thrones, right?
Dude.
Yeah.
He's Hodor because he had to hold the door.
I'm glad they recognize that George Martin recognized, like, hey, there is no good way to do time travel. This is all I'm gonna do, and you're right. That's a similar power that Bran had to what Eren had, except Bran didn't know he could influence, whereas Eren was like, I know, and they're like, and didn't he fucked with us a little bit.
Can we talk? I know we talked about Eren, but can we talk about like our depressy boy, our Reiner, for a second? Like you genuinely feel bad for the guy, right? Like
So much wasted potential in the end. Like my man was like, you know what? Oh, you stabbed me through the throat. Oh, I transferred my consciousness to my ass.
They don't bring it back up at all after that? What?
Yeah.
my favorite like little Easter egg was like in the first season when they're doing flashbacks and like they're training as cadets. It was like Eren giving like the training knife to Reiner, or Reiner giving the training knife to Eren. He's like, okay, now you're the villain now. And then now you see how
The baton.
How overall like Reiner and Bertolt go from crushing the gates, causing all of these commotions, to Eren fucking up Marley.
And 80% of the world.
And
Yeah,
80%
80% of the world.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Marley was completely done for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so that was my whole point around Attack on Titan.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
another anime that I really love is Demon Slayer.
Oh, Demon Slayer.
The
Demon
art
Slayer is
style.
such a visual experience. It's
Yeah. I held out for a long time, as you guys know. I held out for a long time, and then I was just worried because I'm like, there's not enough content, right? And I mean, then I got in, and I'm like, I think we were coming back from somewhere, I forgot what it was, and basically we started watching. I didn't realize it. Suddenly I was 8 episodes in, and I was almost done with the season. And then we watched the Mugen Train together, and that was wild.
Mugen Train is probably one of my favorite movies.
It was
that I've
good.
seen, anime
it was
movies.
good. It was just it was a visual masterpiece. I will say I'm a sucker for like the hero's journey and a fulfillment of it. So that's why like the entertainment district arc was incredible. Just straight
even
incredible
with the
for me.
visuals, man, it was so beautiful. But my man Tengen lost both arms. And he just like, fuck it, I'll grab it with my mouth and still beat this demon.
And that scene was incredible. I think I'm gonna say the word incredible a lot here, but
He lost one arm because I
was gonna say I don't know. How
he lost another arm too.
I'm pretty sure the blade. I'm pretty sure the knives. They had a little. But I think they got.
I don't know how he wielded both. Yeah, I think the
It
whole
wasn't
thing was,
his mouth. I think he had one hand, but he didn't have both because you could do both generally. But
he had one in his mouth, and then that towards the end, that's what he was. So it was first one the hand got cut off, and then he had one in the mouth and one in the hand, and then both of them I think got cut off.
Yeah, my man had 3 hot wives.
He had 3 hot wives.
Yeah.
That's the highlight of that character for sure. He pulled off 3,
and he was super flambeau, right? Like that was the whole thing. It was like maybe that's the vibe.
Flashy.
That's he kept saying flashy. Yeah.
So again, I know you guys are not gonna like it, but we have to talk about it. This is the biggest trending, like the biggest anime right now, the most trending anime right now. We have to talk about Jujutsu Kaisen.
Fine.
Gotta come back to it.
I know, because you guys talk about death a lot, like, oh yeah, like, can't believe they killed this character off or whatever, Game of Thrones style. But this arc that they have right now is called the Shibuya Incident. They don't call it the Shibuya arc. They call it the incident because
Death.
It's a fucking incident. It's a fucking problem. I don't know who and their moms, the sick motherfucker that is writing and directing these episodes, but characters that you love, that you think are gonna last their lifetimes, like, you know, into the show, dead.
One thing actually when you mentioned that it's being canceled, my first thought was actually the author is taking a pause because he traumatized himself
from what he did do
from where the manga is at.
Wow.
I think the author of Attack on Titan actually had to take a pause because of like the headspace that he was in with writing.
Yeah.
So I get that. And you know, side topic, we could talk about Hunter x Hunter as well because of the author resuming writing the manga. But no, like Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah, but let's go on Hunter x Hunter. He had back problems.
Yeah, he had
legit actual health issues
from lifting the new gen anime on his back.
Yeah,
yes, he's having back problems. I get it, but oh my god, Hunter x Hunter, dude. Sorry, Jujutsu Kaisen, man. It's 2 major character deaths.
In like 2 episodes.
In 2 episodes, and the episode before that, and a character that was kind of mentioned in a movie brought back to life.
It was the guy from the beginning part of the season. They had that little random, which I thought, I was like, is this what am I watching? Because I thought this was going to be continuation. This was in the past, but that guy came back.
Yeah.
He had like he didn't have like curse power. He had something else. I forgot, like
I don't know
heavenly
enough.
power or something.
I don't know enough, but like, you know what? Maybe I'll eventually watch it. I have a lot to watch, man, guys. So I know that the big number 1 on my list, you guys can see it from here, Loki. So
great watch. Season 2 is actually really good. Towards the end, the first 3 episodes, I remember telling you that I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I don't understand. I think they're just churning out episodes because they can.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Loki is carrying the MCU right now. I think there's not much good. This is still Phase 4, right? Like, I
think so.
I think it's the end of Phase 4 or beginning of Phase 5.
Because I'm like, dude, Phase 4 has been kind of watered down. WandaVision was good. Loki's good.
That was all Phase 3, I believe. I don't think that was Phase 4.
Might have been those probably. Then
no.
Season 1 probably was.
Didn't Phase 3 end with Endgame? Or no? With what's that Spider-Man movie? Far From Home.
Far From Home. Yeah. Oh, never mind. Yeah, you're right. Then beginning of Phase 4 was
Phase 4
right.
is just so long, man. Holy crap!
Yeah.
There's so much. For lack of a better word, it's garbage being thrown out right now.
I mean, next season
they cover all these shows, so that's why it takes forever more than movies. I mean, they have random movies, which actually of all the Marvels, these are the ones that are doing the worst. That have been coming out since.
Yeah, I mean, Miss Marvel. I thought Miss Marvel was a fun watch.
As like a watch. You know, like a fun one-time.
The Marvels, again, fun comedy. I would if they advertised it as a comedy, it's okay, fine. But they wanted it to be way bigger than it was. Beer had something big, which I don't know if we want to talk about or not. But
yeah, we could do some spoiler.
Yeah, and I personally was whatever about it.
Yeah. No, I actually liked The Marvel. I think it was a funny movie. I don't think it deserves to flop as hard as it did, but I don't think it's going to be a wild success.
Interesting. Okay. Interesting.
So, great bourbon picks. Some good anime recommendations as well. Thank you so much for coming. This was actually a fun conversation. This was actually felt like just hanging out with the boys. This was literally just us hanging out, shooting some shit, and drinking some nice bourbon.
Definitely appreciate it. If you ever have any other anime episodes, obviously I love that shit. So an invite is asked and required, maybe.
Of course,
Of course. Yeah, we would love to have you back.
And I think let's just wrap this up really quickly, say our byes, and then go over to his place so we could pop open that stag.
Let's do it. Yeah. All right. Well, another episode in the books, episode 11. I think, thanks everybody for listening again, and our viewership hopefully will increase as we add on more guests. Listen, this is the way we acquire viewers, right? Or listeners. We just bring them on the show.
Exactly.
And then hopefully they'll start listening. But again, thank you, Darshan, for being on the episode with us.
Yeah, no problem.
And, as always, thanks everybody for listening in. And let's hit the hay.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, guys. Bye.
Peace.